to the JAWN podcast. I'm your host, Shalia.
And your host, Janina.
And today's affirmation says, always keep in mind your temporary feelings can destroy everything you're attempting to build. Today's word of the week is empathy. And empathy is the ability to understand another person's thoughts and feelings in a situation from their point of view rather than your own, putting yourself in the shoes of another. It differs from sympathy. Sympathy is feeling compassion, sorrow, or pity for the hardships that another person encounters. Um, the reason why I picked this word is because people always say, yeah, I can sympathize. I can sympathize. But it's really empathize. Sympathy is more so, you know, when someone loses someone, or you could feel sympathy, but I think it's misused and overused a lot. So what's up with you? How's your week going?
Fast. I feel like it's going fast.
Really? I feel like it's going slow.
Oh no, it's going fast for me. I still got a bunch of stuff that I didn't do that I need to do. What's new? But yeah. Um, I don't know. It's already Wednesday. I feel like it was just a weekend. But yeah, my week about to be over.
Yeah, pretty much. Get your list and start checking it off.
Yeah.
Um, I'm good. I'm good. I work from home this week so I could get to feeling 100% better, and I do. I feel 100% better. I feel like if I would have pushed myself to go into the office, then I wouldn't have been giving myself time to fully heal. And so I'm well rested. Maybe that's why I feel like the week going by fast because I had all these days at home.
You mean slow. Yeah.
So yeah, slow because I just been home. So yeah. All right. You got any oh, I like that joint for this week?
I have a nope. I don't like that John.
Okay. So it should nope, I don't like that joint.
When people are so hyped to post RIP without even knowing A, if the person is dead, B, if the family knows about it. Oh my God. I'm just so I'm so over it. Like
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
I hate that. I don't like that joint either.
It's like what is the rush? Like, geez.
Yeah. It's like, especially on social media, I feel like people are always in a race to be first, but why?
And
You
this is the
haven't.
part that right, and this is the part that was so ironic. So more recently a situation happened. Yesterday I seen one of my Facebook friends who is somebody who we used to work with a long time ago. Um I saw people posting rest in peace. What does the P stand for? PIP? And people don't be doing
Peace and
PIP.
peace in paradise or something
Peace
like
and
that.
paradise. So I saw at least probably 4 posts, right? About this person, tagging this person, that they've passed. And I was like, oh my God. And it was late when I seen this post. And then today I seen quadruple the amount of posts about this person dying or whatever. So I'm like, oh wow, thinking it's solidified. And then later, one of her kids had her phone or, her Facebook login and was like, stop putting rest in peace near my mom's name. Like, she's not going. She's fighting for her life. Like, that is so wild to me.
hmm
It
And
is
these
so
people that's
wild.
posting it, they haven't been to the hospital. They haven't talked to this person's family. They just running off of something that they saw on Facebook.
Right. Because then in turn, it's a domino effect because I'm then telling people because I see at least 10. Like for me, when somebody is going, I usually like the more posts validates it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, I seen at least 10, and the
Mhm.
people are tagging like, you know what I mean? Like these aren't like, I don't know any of these people, and these people are tagging this individual, so I really don't know what, the depth of their relationship is with her, but I just assume you wouldn't be tagging somebody who's alive, saying rest in peace. Like I would just think that. Like
Yeah.
that's so wild, but um it makes a little sense because I seen one post I saw was somebody saying pray for her. So I'm just like, that's weird. Like, but now everybody's saying, you got this, you got, I'm just like, yo, people crazy.
But
I
they do
know.
that to celebrities too.
I know. They always do it to celebrities. They was about to kill Jamie Foxx off, honey.
Child, I don't know what it is,
And
but
that's what
yeah.
his daughter had to come on, like, look, they was trying to kill Kelly Price too, remember? She was
Mhm.
missing and she was dead.
They
Girl.
did it quick,
Yes,
quick,
that's why, like,
fast,
when
in a
Tina Turner
hurry.
died, I was like, oh, they was just killing Angie Stone. They
Angie
just was killing
Stone.
Angie Stone last week. My husband said to me, oh, did you know Angie Stone died? I was like, what?
No,
And
she was in a wheelchair. She looked sick. She did not die.
I was like, what? Mind you, I'm on social media way more than he is. So I'm just like, I didn't see not one post saying she was dead. So I'm like, where is he getting this from? And he was like, Google it. Child. I'm like, well, you need to be able to see more than one site that's saying it. I was like, because
Mhm.
usually TMZ, they've learned their lesson and they make sure that they validate it, like with the coroner or somebody that they have at the medical examiner's office. I think they got somebody's death wrong or whatever. And then it was like, oh no, after that. But
Yeah, like you could get sued for that. Stop doing that.
yes, like y'all killing people.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
So I have a nope. I don't like that joint too. So I don't like when people tell you, "Oh my God, you're too young to have gone through this," or "Oh my God, you're so young to have gone through this." And so I went to the lab this past last week, and the lady was like looking, and she was like, "Oh my God, like you're so young to have gone through all of these things." And I'm like, "How first of all, do you know how old I am? Second of all, like, why do you?" And I've had this encounter with people, with like medical professionals several times, and I
That's weird.
always have to tell them that it's inconsiderate to say that to people because nobody asks to have these illnesses or conditions. So, do you say this to babies who have cancer? Oh my
Right.
God, you're too young to have. No, it's
Like
just
let's
inappropriate.
call up these illnesses and tell them to wait until you're 50. Like, what is the purpose of that?
Exactly. Like nobody is asking to yeah, and it's just like, and when I said it, because the girl was a,
And that's also like saying an
I'm
older
not gonna
person,
say
you
she was
deserve to have all
young,
this stuff going on.
right? And so I was just like, that's inconsiderate, and you shouldn't say that to people because nobody asks to have whatever they're going through. And it's just, I just like, I was pissed off. And then what really pissed me off is she gonna take, I don't like when people who draw blood do this. Like they'll put a band-aid on a chair or something and try to put it on you. Like no. She
You mean
had a
took it
freaking,
off? She took off the thing.
yeah, like
Oh,
so
I know what you
you
mean.
know when you open a band-aid, it's the
Hmm.
two things on each side. So
Yeah, I know what you
they'll
mean.
like take one side off and put it on something. No, that's unsanitary. This lady had the band-aid on her scrub shirt. Miss, no, I don't know where your scrub shirt been. If you got pets at home,
On her
none
scrub
of
shirt.
that. Janina, I wish I was lying.
What?
I said no. Do not give me that band-aid.
I've seen the only time I've seen that, but it's like you know how if you have like tape, wrapping tape, and they have to like change a bandage, and they have to pre-cut the tape, not on a scrub shirt, of course, but like on the counter maybe. But this is
But
taping
they
a bandage.
sanitize it. But
Yeah,
they,
but like
because
it's
when
like a
I
band.
used
The
to
bandage is not going to be touching the
touching
actual
your
skin.
skin,
Yeah, right.
right,
Well, I mean, the
right.
tape that's going over top of the bandage is not going to touch the skin.
Touching the bandage, right. No.
Right,
This, but because when I used to go to dialysis, they used to pre tear the tape, but they would sanitize the station, because what it was like a table that pops up, and that's what they use to put all the supplies on it, but they
right.
sanitize it first. No, you didn't sanitize. Why do you have that on your uniform shirt? So yeah. In fact, that reminds me, I need to, because they always send the survey afterwards, and I'm going definitely annoying. So, but this is the thing. If you don't, I feel like I had to let her know, because nobody was going to say anything. Like, what? On your shirt? You could have spilled barbecue sauce, ketchup, anything on it. You could have had that shirt on all week. You taking a band-aid, putting one side of it on there, peeling it off and putting it on somebody's skin.
But a band-aid is so the band-aid is equipped to like it has
Put
a
one side
split
on
on
and
it.
then,
Yeah, like and do it at one
yeah,
time. That is so weird. Like I've never
right.
seen anybody do that before.
Usually people, phlebotomists who have skills, that's what they do. Yeah, weird. But yeah. So it's prime, it's prime. What did you buy this week for prime time? Who got your money? Excuse
Um
me.
so I got a new phone.
Oh,
Um
did you?
I do. I have a
Oh, what kind of phone
iPhone
you got now?
14. iPhone
Oh,
14.
excuse me.
I know. I don't feel like it's
Okay.
any different, but yeah. So I bought a case for my phone. And I don't know, it's a whole bunch of fruit flies in here. I don't know, they trying to take over my house, so I bought some fruit fly traps. It's a mess.
Oh, did you see that thing that they got that plugs in? It's like a blue light,
Yeah,
and it
I'm
catch
a
all the
I had intentions on just going to Home Depot and purchasing one instead of just like
Oh, okay.
waiting for it to come in the mail. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that they really like that.
Yeah, I got to do something. But I got
Um,
to see if I have any more, but last summer I had bought this stuff to put in the drains for the fruit flies. I got to see if have any more left.
oh, okay. Um, I I bought a chime for another chime for the ring camera, because the other day I was here by myself, and this man came to the door. I didn't get, like, maybe I was away from my phone and the notification. I don't know. But when I go back and look, it was just like somebody rang the bell. Then he took out his phone, was looking at his phone. Then he looking up at the house. And when the ring thing came on, like, we can't come to the door right now. He talked about, oh, nice house, and walked away.
Oh wow.
But upon further investigation, he had on a uniform, but that could be anybody. You know what I mean? Anybody could put on a uniform and put on the badge and try to come to your
Right.
house. So,
But if you get a
and it's just weird.
if you get an Echo or Echo Show or something, the Alexa thing will tell you too, and you can
Yeah,
see the.
we just haven't hooked it up to I don't want I don't think I want any more of that kind of stuff, because the Alexa that we have just be picking up and doing I don't yeah. Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, but if you
So the
already
chime
have the
has been
Alexa,
working.
that's what I'm saying. If you already have the Alexa, I think they can tell you when somebody's at the door.
Yeah. So the chime works because you hear it, but then it's like if I'm away from my phone, then it'll if I have my phone, it pops up on my phone. But if I'm away
Right.
from my phone, then I'll hear the chime. So
Yeah. Yeah, I needed to
it
get my
works.
parents a chime.
Yeah. So you gotta hit this joint up is where we highlight a small business. And this week we're highlighting Black Lotus Holistic Health Collective, which is founded by Cassandra Boulding. This is located in Philadelphia, actually on Lincoln Drive. And they offer several services such as dance, self care Sundays, paint and sit for teens, and they have a mom's market. Um, you can follow them on Instagram at Black Locust 8.hhc, and you could click on the link in their bio and it'll list all their services, the dates and times and anything like that. They actually have a workshop coming up on Saturday, um, and they are promoting their mom's market, which they say promotes equity um, for Black women. So if you're in Philadelphia and you're looking for something it's a little something for everybody. You can take the kids there for the paint and sip. You could go to the mom's market, go to self care Sundays. Check them out. Um, Make sure y'all follow them and support them.
The horoscope this week is going to be Leo. It's approaching Leo season. Whatever.
Why you be hating? When
Whatever.
Virgo is coming, it ain't our fault. You almost at the end. I mean, you just gotta wait your turn.
Whatever. So for love, your gut instincts are dead on this week with your leader, sun traveling through intuitive Cancer and your house of psychic energy. Don't ignore the obvious chemistry between you and someone you're interested in, despite the obstacles. When you know, Leo, you know.
Mm, okay.
And for health, you should be encouraged to talk over any problems that cause you stress. Life could be intense, and underlying issues could rise to the surface. In order to avoid tension, headaches, and nervous strain, seek professional help if you need it. You'll feel better once you're clear of these issues. Don't hold back, let it all out. I know that's right. And for money, this week you're battening down the hatches when it comes to paying back any money you owe. You may be striving to finally get rid of that indebted feeling and find that wonderful freedom in cutting up old credit cards. You're working towards this reality slowly but surely. In the meantime, think about how you can use your creativity and intuition in your investing life. You may find some very lucrative ideas in the strangest places, so be open to how they come. Hmm.
Okay, Leo.
Interesting, Leo. Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. So for current events, um, so this is something that I came across on the internet and then I did some more research. So it's a Yale physician, black woman. Her name is Dr. Amanda Calhoun, and she's suggesting that doctors should be forced to wear body cams,
Hmm.
so they can be punished if they are racist. And she's claiming that she watched a black teen die in the ER as white colleagues chuckled.
I believe it. I think there was some malpractice lawsuits where people went into surgeries and they left like their phone recording or something and they could hear. So like
Yeah.
now a lot of times these surgeries are recorded.
Mm-hmm. And so she says she's heard white nurses joke that young black children will probably join gangs, and doctors describing natural hair of black people as wild and unkept. Um and it's just like, yeah, I could believe it. So the thing is with the body cameras, they pretty much saying that it would violate HIPAA and some things like that. But she's saying have if the families want it or the person wants it, then have them sign off on it. And I agree because then it will cut down on um, the racism and things like this happening. Because how unfair that
Well, I
innocent
don't see how
people.
I don't see how it would violate HIPAA if it's just a different way of recording the person's medical procedure, because I mean, they put everything in charts, it would be the same. It would just be uploaded into their chart. Like, it would be the same thing in my opinion.
I guess because body parts might be shown or like the actual surgery and stuff like that. But I don't think so. I was thinking, well, maybe not body cams, but they be mic'd instead.
Audio.
That's a
Yeah.
requirement. Yeah. Instead of the body cams. So,
Right.
but
Either
then
way, if it's and I'm saying if it's in their medical records, nobody can see your medical records without authorization. So
that's what they say. But girl, a lot of stuff be going on in the medical field that shouldn't go on. So I just seen something crazy where this guy bought this storage unit and it was a doctors that had got evicted from his office and he put all 20 years worth of people medical records in this storage unit. And the man contacted him and was like, hey, you know, I bought this storage unit, but do you want these records? And he gonna tell him do whatever you want with them.
I believe it.
Crazy.
Hmm.
And he was like, I'm not touching it because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be responsible for this. This is people's socials and all kinds of stuff, you know? So, yeah. Did you see the Amanda Seal podcast interview with Tabitha?
I did.
So
Yeah, I did.
pretty much she was asking but insinuating that Tabitha was a witch.
She
And
was, in my
Tabitha
opinion, redefining the word witch. I don't necessarily know why, but she was redefining the word witch, um, being as though that Tabitha has a gift. And it was like, but I didn't understand why she was trying to redefine what a witch is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, well,
Cause
you
at
mean
that,
like,
cause afterwards she was like, "So I was pretty much right," and like, no, you
no, because
weren't.
she gives credit to her. The difference is she gives credit of her gift to God,
Right,
and witches don't. So it's like, what,
right.
everybody with a gift isn't a witch. Like,
Isn't
I
a
guess
witch, right?
it's like she was trying to imply that, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it is a difference between a witch, because like people are practicing witches where they don't necessarily have a gift, but they utilize spells and curses and stuff like that. But like, if you have a gift, then you don't have to do anything. This is something that God put in
God
you.
gave you, right?
Yeah.
And I believe that God gives everybody different
Oh
gifts,
yeah, most definitely.
and so that's just her
Right.
gift.
Yeah.
And to imply that she's a witch, like I don't know, and so Tabitha was like, "No, I'm a seer," and so
Right.
I was doing some research, and there can be different types of seers, but pretty much, from my understanding of Tabitha Brown, because she said that she wrote about it in her first book,
Yeah.
is like there are seers who follow Christ and let him lead, their thoughts and their tongues and things. And there's other seers who don't. But I believe
Don't.
that Tabitha
Right.
Brown is a follower of Christ. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it was just
Yeah. I
weird to
mean,
me.
I believe that, I mean, as a Christian, if you believe in the text as it's translated, you know that early on, God gave a lot of people gifts and they were able to openly utilize their gifts. But I think, I
Hmm.
don't think he ever stopped giving people gifts. I just think that it's something that is not known a lot. So you may not know how to utilize it. Um, but like when she said, she used to see as a small child, like, because I believe in
Hmm.
mediums. Like, I watch the guy, the white guy Tyler or whatever, I watch him all the time. But I believe in mediums. um So, she was saying as a small child, she would see people, like deceased people would visit her.
Mhm.
But again, like at the end of the day, people are vessels and God utilizes them however he see fit. I personally see her anointing. I personally see the manifestation of, like, her journey being what it was, to purposely like touch lives and purposely like show people that you got to, keep the faith and, don't give up. So I get it. Everybody is different. I mean, I thought it was a good podcast. I mean, I
Yeah,
thought it
it
was,
was.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was
It
a good
was.
podcast.
That
Um
part just stood out to me. That's all, because it's like,
that part was
so
forceful
you're a
to me.
witch.
Yeah, it was kind of
Mhm.
forceful. And I think a lot of times that's what happens when someone is more faith-based than others. So, like, I don't think that Amanda Seales, she doesn't come off to me as like a religious person
No.
or someone
Mm-mm.
who's like, really faith-based. So I think that a
Yeah,
lot of times is what
because
happens.
even the way how the way Tabitha handled that whole thing is like somebody else would have been like, "Witch." Like Tabitha was just so
And
grateful,
she
like,
could have, and she
"No."
could, and she could have, after this. But I mean, they do have some form of relationship, so I think that's why she may have felt a little more comfortable, because I know Amanda Seales was on Tab's show, so maybe,
Yeah,
I
but
I just
somebody,
don't think she used the
even
right word.
still, if yeah, even still, I just think the way that Tabitha is able to, you see God in her, just how she carries herself,
Most
the way
definitely.
that she responds, and all of that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I love her so. So the internet, so the internet was having a ball, honey. They was having a ball with this whole Kiki Palmer and her baby.
child.
God, you know who his brother is, right?
No, who is
The
brother?
guy that plays Dro on Insecure is his freaking brother.
Really?
Yes, that's how they met.
Mm. Okay.
And
Okay.
Dro in real life, I think is kind of like a f boy too, because I think he has a kid by the girl that plays Tasha on Insecure.
Oh. Ooh,
Girl,
I didn't know that.
yes, yes. I'm Listen. I'm all for Kiki dropping that fool because he's out of pocket. I'm just
And it's
like,
like, you say this, but you had a baby with her and you are not married to her. So
as soon
what are
as
you
somebody
talking
uses the
about?
word wife in their explanation, but they're not married, you no longer can listen to anything that they say. Because why are you referring to somebody as a wife or just bringing up things about wifely things if she isn't a wife? And then on top of that,
But
what would
he
that have
didn't
mattered?
say. It would have been different if he would have said, he was like, "You're a mother." It's not like,
He showed to me that
I
they were
don't
already
know.
broken up. I felt like they were already broken up because he to me didn't say anything like you got my ass out there so everybody can see. Like he didn't say anything about their relationship or her being not a single person. Like you saying she's a mother, she can't wear her ass out. What?
But weren't they at the show together?
Uh-uh. No, she was there with her
I thought,
girls.
I thought they were there together. So they are broken up.
I don't know. I don't think it was public knowledge if they were going through something or not broken up. I felt like she went to Vegas on some I'm going to do me, and that's why he felt the need to kind of like say whatever he said cuz he was in his feelings. That's how I read through the in between the lines, because he even like doubled
Well,
down on it. And if y'all in a relationship, why would you do that? Like to me you would like why would you double down on it instead of just talking to your girl? Like that just seemed like she wasn't really
or
messing
he
with you.
was looking for some attention because that can happen
Exactly,
too.
because she wasn't really rocking with him. That's what I'm saying. Like I felt like she already wasn't really rocking with him, and he just keep digging. He dug himself deeper. Like you
Well,
like this girl is
Kiki
selling merch
definitely
now.
I was like, she definitely
Yes,
monopolized off of it.
as you
So,
should, because
you're
he's out
right.
of pocket and he gotta
Yeah.
go. He
Yeah.
gotta go.
I
He
don't
gotta
know,
go. And that's
child.
why everybody be so hype about, oh well, you should get married. Listen.
Mm-mm. Because stuff like this happen. and then,
Exactly. And
and
it ain't
then
nothing
you
but a
like,
conversation. Goodbye.
exactly. Yes.
Hilarious.
So, we're going to get into this week's episode topic. And this week's episode topic is college is not for everyone. Um, for me, I agree with that. I wish, although I went to college, I enjoyed my experiences in college. I wish that somebody would have told me different. Actually, while I was in college, a lot of people, when I would tell them my major, they would be like, you're not gonna make no money. So it was pretty discouraging, but I still continued. Felt like I had to prove people wrong. Um, but along the way, there were a lot of people who dropped out and decided that it wasn't for them.
Right.
Um, and guess what? They're doing pretty well out here making a lot of money with technology and with the trade and things like that. So, you know, but it was pretty much drilled into me in high school. It's like, you got to go to college, you got to go to college. You got to take
Right.
your SATs and get this good score so you can go to college. Your 11th grade
Right.
year, this and that. They looking at you got to go to college.
Yeah. I'm definitely, this is the thing. I'm definitely pro college. I do want my kids to go to college, but if I acknowledge that they are not good students, if I acknowledge that in high school they aren't good students or that they don't really have interest in academia or whatever, I would prefer to use the money to invest in another skill or another interest. Now, again, like I said, I am pro college, but I would not recommend like forcing somebody to go if that's not what they want to do, or advocating or sometimes making people feel like without a college degree they can't make good money. um there are a lot of jobs where you can make good money without a college degree. But also I feel like, college is not just for a job. You do learn a lot, and that is from the age of 18 to 21. It is a time in your life where you may be doing self discovery, where you may not necessarily know what you want to do. I mean, shoot, we 40 years old and still trying to figure it out. So,
Right.
I mean, to expect an 18-year-old to make a decision that's going to affect their life at 40 and 50 is a little unreasonable. um for them to like have a decision and know exactly what they want to do for the rest of their life, or how they want to make a living or whatever, like when they basically just 6 months ago was living in a mama's house. So,
Mm-hmm.
um again, like I said, we are pro college, but we're also pro trade school, we're also pro entrepreneurship, we're also
Mm-hmm.
um pro tech school and
Take a year off and figure it out. I'm pro that.
right.
Because, like you
um
said, if you're 18 and just sometimes didn't even turn 18 yet, and it's like you're going to a new environment with these new people, learning life skills, learning this, learning that, you're kind of just pushed out there into the world. So,
yeah. And like when one of my friends, I know her niece is going to a community college, and I feel like when I was younger, a lot of things I feel like has changed. The perception of things have changed. I know that like when I was younger, I feel like um community colleges were looked at as less than. And I think a lot of community colleges have more resources now, or people are actually realizing how beneficial they can be, and how, how you can
Cost
get resources,
effective.
and utilize the community college for a fraction of the price. Um
Hmm.
and I'm telling kids all the time, it really does not matter how you start. It really matters how you end. And I don't feel like that was ever preached. I'm constantly telling young people who I know, take classes at your community college, your freshman year, your sophomore year. You can finish college. If you are going to do college, you need to utilize everything. You need to utilize the resources, because I didn't have any guidance. I think it's so important that if you are going to go to college, that you find mentorship. I didn't know nothing about that stuff. I just was going to school. That's it. I was just going to school.
Hmm.
Like, it's very important, because I see people now who had utilized that and did that, how it helped them tremendously when they graduated. Having mentorship, having internships, having externships, like, you know, just doing things that are beneficial. Like, I'm not really keen on, like, for instance, if you are going to go to college, right? And you feel like that's something that you really want to do, I just don't feel like you should utilize your time like working at like a minimum wage job, as opposed to like utilizing the time to study for SATs and getting better grades and being able to get, like, scholarships for college. But that's me.
But
Um
sometimes that's people's way of how they
oh
have to do
no, I'm sorry.
things.
I'm talking about people who like don't people who are privileged enough to like not have to work. They don't need to work, um because their parents are financially set, but not necessarily don't necessarily have money for college. I
But
know some
that's the
people
thing
who.
too. A lot of times, all of these scholarships and grants and things are out here, and because there's no education on where to look for them, how to get them, what
Right,
you need to do, then it ends up being a lot of times people get to the end and then they run out of financial aid and stuff,
right.
and then they can't finish. They never get their degree. They're right
Exactly.
there.
That's
So
why I'm saying I think that,
utilizing
like, when you're in the 11th grade or the 10th grade, and you have the opportunity to maybe get a job to work or whatever, like, I think you should be, instead of looking for jobs, you should be looking for scholarships. You should be looking
I
for.
mean, again, everybody is not blessed to do that, but then it's like, yeah, you should be doing it, but who's going to let you know? That's the thing. Like, a lot of parents don't know. They probably never went to college, never applied for a scholarship or a grant or anything like that. And honestly, school counselors, they don't help you with that stuff a lot of times either, because thing about the public school system, if you go to a public school, how many students they're in charge of helping with college applications and all of that stuff. I just remember, for me personally, my counselor just saying, oh, well, do you want to go to college? Well, in state is less money, and if you go out of state it's more money, so think about that when you're applying and things like
Right.
that. But for me, my journey was a little bit different because I didn't have parents to put down for financial aid. So I pretty much had to get documentation saying, even though,
So you had to get emancipated.
and I had to become a ward of the court, and I had to produce my mom's death
What?
certificate. Yeah, in order for me to get financial aid. Hmm.
Oh, because so, but what, you wasn't living with your dad when you graduated from high school?
I was, but he didn't. When I say this man didn't do nothing. He never even when, and I had ended up getting in. That's so I'll talk about my personal journey. So what ended up happening is I went to Temple. However, I went through something where I was working and I had a medical billing job. And I felt like, oh, well, I wasn't doing that good in school. And I'm like, oh, I got this job. I'm making good. For me, it was good money at that time. And I was
Well, how
living
many
at home
semesters? Well, how many semesters did you complete at Temple?
a year. I completed a year, but no, I'm lying. I didn't finish the second semester.
Okay.
That's when I just stopped going abruptly, right?
Spring.
And I was like, I'm making this money at this medical billing place. I don't have no kids. I don't have no bills. I thought it was cool, but I dropped out. And
Mm,
ultimately, I ended up quitting that job because the owner of the company was real crazy or whatever. So then I started working at Models. Then I started working at NCO. It was just like a whole journey before I actually ended up going back to school. But when I did go back, I went to community for a semester and then I transferred to LaSalle. But my dad
you.
never.
Oh, okay. You only went to community for one semester. I thought you went there longer than that.
No, I only went. No, I didn't do 2 years. I went more than one semester, but I didn't do 2 whole years because I already had. I was able to keep some of the credits from Temple. Then I had to do the rest enough to transfer to LaSalle. So I had to have
Mm,
enough credits to just transfer in, which I did. And so I was just able to transfer into LaSalle. But he ain't never say how school was
yeah.
going on. He didn't even know I dropped out, child. So it was just pretty much pointless. I pretty much did this journey on my own. I really didn't have no help. I did it.
Right.
Well, I'll say the people at the school helped me, especially at LaSalle, because initially I had went directly to LaSalle thinking I could just go. Um, because I didn't know about transferring in your credits. So I just applied. And when I applied,
Oh.
they asked like, did you go to any other schools or whatever, and then
Hmm.
that's when I found out like, okay, you could transfer in, but you need this amount of credits to transfer in, blah blah blah. So then that's when the advisor at LaSalle was like, went over my classes with me, and she told me like exactly what I needed and how to go about it. So she was really helpful, but other than that, I did everything by myself. I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, my parents definitely were. They were supportive to the point where they could. They didn't. They definitely always expected for me to go to college. Um, I don't think. Yeah. I mean, but when it came to registration, when it came to um filling out paperwork, I mean, what my dad had to fill out, he filled out. Um, but again, more so, I guess my message is more so to the parents. Um, when you do have kids, because I do know a lot of people who kind of didn't think about college early on for their children, and then once their child was like a senior, then that's when like they started talking about it, and
Mm-hmm,
like then they're moving mountains and going into debt and trying to figure out what to do so they can accommodate this dream of their child going to college. But um I again, I think that college is definitely a great experience. Some people make it, some people don't make it. Some people wind up going back later in age and doing great. But it's not like, okay, I feel like a lot of times people put so much value on their degree in regards to like their substance, or how valuable they are as an individual.
mm-hmm.
um I noticed a lot, especially with social media,
Yeah,
that
putting it behind their name
or
and.
people, I think on a professional standpoint, okay, but I think like some people um don't really understand who they are, and I feel like a lot of times like getting degrees, it kind of like, give them maybe a sense of who they are without really knowing. I think um it's basically just like a add-on to who
Mm-hmm.
you are, or like a physical like proof that you have capabilities. But I mean,
Listen,
there's a lot
it's
of jobs that people can get and make a good living. um without the 4 years plus without the debt.
Yeah, and
um
everybody who went to college is not smart. Like I
Everyone who's not in college is not
is
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 not
is not
is
dumb.
not, yeah.
Yeah,
um
so you can't, that doesn't define who you are.
right,
And
and I will say, I mean, it definitely, if you are not going, so continue education is very important. I think you should always strive to be educated, to read and to learn, right? Now these institutions that are created, we're basically just paying them for the curriculum, you
mhm,
know. But a lot of the information that you learn in college is available. We now have the World Wide Web. A lot of people, when they went to college, it wasn't easily accessible. Children
mhm,
now can get a lot of information from the internet, um but you have to be careful because it's a lot of misinformation out there, you know what I mean. But there's still information in books. Books are
yeah,
still available. You can still buy books. The same books that people buy from colleges, you can buy that yourself. But
mhm,
um but I say this to say that there are some careers that would just require your dedication and time, and not necessarily cost you. Like, I know people who did, there's internships where you don't get paid, you know? You may
me.
not get paid,
I
but you
didn't
get
get
free
paid.
training. But I'm
Mhm.
saying outside of the college credits, like not even going to college, where you can take
Oh, yeah,
free
like summer
training,
internships and stuff like that.
or just like some certifications where they'll have apprenticeship programs.
Mhm.
Like my goddaughter,
Right.
she wanted to be a welder, and I was like so excited because this way welders start off like $75 an hour. But when COVID hit, the programs was shut down, and she didn't have that structure of the tech school that she was going to because of COVID, to like sign her up, push her to do this, push her to do that. And having drive is so important
I
too.
was just about to say, like anything that you're doing, tech school, apprenticeships, everything, you got to have motivation. You got to
Yes.
have drive. If you don't have that, then none of it is going to work for you.
Yeah, none of it is going to work. So it's like she had this idea in her head and this plan, but if you don't have the drive to execute it, time goes by. And here years don't went by and you still never went and enrolled in a tech school and became a welder. They're always going to need welders. I mean, especially when it comes to women and minorities, I'm sure there's always a place. More recently, they've been having like different unions, they've been having apprenticeship programs.
Hmm.
You do still have to take aptitude tests for most of these things, but if was a fairly good student in high school, you should be able to pass it. Like I just found out, air traffic controllers, they make really good money. And you that's a training program. They say the median salary of an air traffic controller is $130,000.
But this is the thing. Don't get caught. A lot of people get caught up on money, and
Yeah.
they think that they want to do something because they see the amount of money that people in these careers make, and then they get to it and they see like it's not for them. So I feel like do something that you love, do something that you think, because it's different when you're doing something that you like and that you enjoy rather than something that, oh, I'm just going here for a paycheck. It's not enjoyable. It doesn't become enjoyable. Like I said, for me, people would tell me, oh, you're going to school for social work, you're not going to make any money, you definitely going to have to get your master's and you definitely going to have to get a PhD. However, while I was going through my journey in college, my professors always told me you're not limited. People look at this profession and say, oh, well, I'm looking at the starting salary and this and this and that. But there are people with social work degrees who have their own businesses, who do this, who do that, and are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. You could be a consultant. You can be
Right.
it's so many things. So you're not limited to just what degree says that you are or what you went to school for. It's how you utilize it.
Right.
But don't get hung up on the money, because that happens a lot, for, especially for younger kids. Like, oh, my aunt is a nurse and she make money,
Right.
but are you really equipped
I
to
think it's a
do
matter
that?
of finding a good balance. It's a matter of finding something that is going to make you happy, as well as something that is not going to, is going to supply your needs and not have you like stressed out. You know what I mean? I personally didn't know really what I wanted to do when I went to college. I It sound good. I said I wanted to be a lawyer. I don't think I really wanted to be a lawyer. I think it was just
What did
an
you major in undergrad?
legal studies.
Oh, did you? I don't know why I thought you did business.
It is under the business school.
Oh,
They don't have Temple. I don't know if they have it now. They never had a pre-law program.
okay.
So, I guess mostly everybody either did poli sci or I mean, I did. I don't know. Like I don't think that I really knew, and I don't think I really had guidance. So, um, I do recommend everybody who, if they do choose to go to college, to utilize the resources. They're not, if you go to a big college, the stuff is not going to come to you. You have to go and you have to be an advocate. You have to, go to meetings, go to the Black Student Union, go, like, you have to be involved and actually, you may find out and find somebody and be like, oh, such and such is looking for an internship. You never know. Like, a lot of things is word of mouth, or it's just being at the right place at the right time.
Mhm.
So I just don't suggest anybody to go to college and like stay in their bubble and not take full advantage of the environment. Um,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing if if you want to be, but if you want to just get a job, like if that's what you really want to do, like if you just want to get a job, like I don't want to go to school, I just want to get a job, like then you can do that. Like I think a lot of times people kind of like set certain expectations on children, and because the children may feel like they can't meet those expectations, a lot of times they shut down completely and like don't do anything.
Yeah, and honestly, when I look at people's family dynamics, right? So, both of my parents didn't go to college. My mom went to beauty school. She was a beautician. But my dad, he didn't go to college, but my older sisters went to college. So I did have that as an example. My oldest sister dropped out, but then my other sister, she did start out at community, which is crazy to me because they never helped me along my journey. But that's a whole other story. But I see that for a lot of teens and children, when they have people in their family who they see have went to college and things like that, then they have that example and then they start thinking like, oh, I might want to go to college too. But then I see families that
Right.
come from just like, I know a family and everybody and nobody in their family went to college and everybody in their family has worked, but they all have been at their job 20 plus years. Like,
Right.
they've been at their job since they were a teenager and they kind of worked their way up. So that's kind of the structure and the dynamic of their family. Nothing wrong with
Right.
that, because this is what the children are growing up seeing. Like, oh, my mom's at her job for 20 years and she's doing well. So it just sometimes depends on the dynamic, the role models that people have in the family. And so if everybody in your family has been working and been at their job long term, then you decide, oh, I'm gonna have my son go to college. You also have to think about where he's grew up around, what he's been seeing. So that plays a big part in it as well. And I don't think
Right.
people
But I
often
think
think about that.
But see, and I also think that that's where college comes into, because a lot of times you're exposed. We talked about this before. Like, you are exposed to different people's stories and different people of different backgrounds. So it gives you other perspectives. A lot of times, if you are kind of like only around the people that are like you that you know, a lot of times you may not even be aware of other opportunities or things that are available to you. And that's where I think college can be a great thing. And a lot of people, like, some people don't have really good social skills. Some people don't have, like, I'll say, like, for instance, now as an adult, I can appreciate having group projects in college. I can appreciate having public speaking classes in college, because that does build your confidence when having to speak in front of people, when having to deal with people. Those things, I don't think while we were in it we really understood the significance of how it will help us in the real world. But in the real world, you will be, if you're working a job, you will be with other people. You will have to be usually on a team, or whether you leading the team or you're a team member. um and you will probably have meetings, and somebody might ask you to speak up or whatever. And I think, as a 19-year-old, you just like, I'm just trying to do my part. And so you may
Yeah.
not really understand how important it is. That's why, like, some people don't have, like I said, social skills are really important. um or even being able to pick up social cues, or like, I know for me, you may have different professors that can be influential for your life, like, make you
Yeah.
look at things different. They may challenge you. So college is definitely a great thing for somebody who wants to get everything out of it. I don't think people should go to college just because it sounds good. You should, like, want to take it by the horns and, like, okay, I'm going to really take advantage of, like, I know people who, like, you just enroll in bullshit ass classes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, don't force because this is what you foresee for your child. Don't
Right.
force it on them. Kind of, you gotta let them kind of, because when parents force the things that they didn't get to do on
Yeah.
your child, uh, it's a disaster. And it's like
Right.
I've heard
Or
parents be
I
like,
think you just
"I'm
have to
living
kind of,
through my child. I'm living through my child." No,
right.
you can't. You gotta.
Yeah.
That is harmful. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think it's just exposure. It's like, giving your kids the opportunity to see the world maybe differently than how it was presented to you. You know what I
But that
mean?
has to start. I'm not gonna say it has to. It can start at a younger age.
Exactly. That's
Putting
what I'm
them in
saying.
programs and Girl
Yes.
Scouts and Boy Scouts and after
Very
school. That,
important.
yeah, that's very
Very
important.
important. Yes,
Yeah.
that's very important. Like I said, as a parent, sometimes I'm OD. Sometimes I'm OD and I be like, I done signed them up. I done signed them. But I know that, and I'm not saying that my parents didn't want to sign me up for things. I just don't think that they was aware of a lot of different programs. And the way that I grew up is different than the way that my children are growing up. Um,
Mhm.
I had friends that lived near me, so I wasn't ever like, I didn't have a lot of idle time. Like, I just played with my friends. But my children don't have that, and I'm not gonna say I lived through my daughter, but I want to invest in her. She's my investment, so I try to invest in her. Hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? I'm not always like, I don't, everything that she signs up for, I sign her up for,
But
is
that's the
usually something that she
difference.
shows interest in. Yeah.
Right. You're asking her. You're not just be like, you're doing this and you're doing that because I
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to do this. So you're
Oh
going to do
yeah.
that. That's what I mean. And so that's harmful to children because no, they don't want to do what you didn't get a chance to do. No, maybe you want them to have opportunities that you didn't, but if you at one time wanted to be go into tap dance and all of that stuff and be do dance, and now you're making your daughter do it, and that's not something that she wants to do. So
Right.
you're going to
Yeah, me and
invest,
my
invest, invest, and then
yeah,
it's
me and my
going to
manager
fall
was just
through.
talking about that. She was like, I was telling her that Ava had started her dance intensive this week, and she was like, "Oh, is she a good dancer?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's been dancing since she's been a dancing machine. She's been dancing since she was 4." And she was saying that her niece cannot dance, and her sister keeps signing her up for, signing her up for dance. And you know what's so crazy is that I had a moment as a parent where I knew that this was something that my daughter liked when she was 3 years old, and she cried, and I was like, in that moment, I had to make a decision. Like, um, I knew that she loved to dance, so it was just like, should I take her out? It was like, am I going to take her out? But I know she loves to dance. It was literally just her first sign of the first, I think it was her first sign of anxiety as a 3-year old. You know what I mean? She really didn't know how to do it, but it was like she was crying and dancing at the same time.
Yeah, I think at 3, you really don't you really don't
That's what I'm saying.
know.
Like she
It's
did,
such a
she would do hip hop and fine. And then she would have a break. Then she would have to do ballet, and the lady in ballet was a little mean. So she was crying. I'm like, oh my God. And some people took their kids out, but I just was like, I know this girl like to dance. Like she's been dancing
but
forever.
what
Like
if
I
she
know
just didn't like ballet? That could have been it
she was
too.
dancing, but it wasn't like she wouldn't stop dancing. She was doing ballet before she took ballet. She had a tutu, she cried for this tutu, and she was doing like plies and all that before she was 2 years old. So that's why I was like, oh my God. But it's just the strict guidelines of ballet. That's what it is. Because even now she hadn't taken ballet in like 2 years, but she has to take ballet now.
Hmm.
So it's just the strict. It's not that she don't like the ballet movements. It's just that the teachers in ballet are stricter than the teachers in any other discipline.
Yeah, that's gonna happen throughout life too. You'll have bosses like that. You'll have college
Exactly.
professors like that.
Exactly, and that's why
So,
I think that it is important. That's why sometimes these extracurricular. I know for me, being in Girl Scouts, it definitely did help me with like customer service because as a small girl, I was selling Girl Scout cookies, and then like when I did get jobs where I had to work with the public, I wasn't scared, I wasn't timid or anything like that. So you may not understand how certain skills translate as you get older or as you do things, but when you in that moment you may not understand the importance of it, but as you get older you start to correlate it with certain experiences that you had as a young person.
yeah,
Um so I just know a lot of people, like even when we had Darlene on and she was saying, like, because she's building this real estate empire, like she wants her son, like, to not even go to college and do real estate or whatever. But she said she do want him to go to college, but she wants him to do real estate.
real estate, yeah.
And the thing about it is when you do have a family business, a lot of that's how nepotism works. A lot of times your kids can go to college and they'll bring that $100,000, $150,000 education back to your business. And then you have maybe somebody with a little more knowledge, with a
Right,
little
to help
more
the business
experience, a
grow.
little more
Mhm.
education, things that maybe you didn't know.
Right.
Like I deal with that, in my current job, like where one of my coworkers is an older woman, where she knows her stuff when it comes to, like, for us, we may rely on a computer to calculate things more. She can do a lot of that in her head because she didn't have the computer growing up. You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes people like that is good because they can pick up on the mistakes of the computer. But
Yeah. And it's just
I
I
just don't think
think,
that
it's
anybody.
not for everyone. You gotta
Yes.
talk to your children. You gotta get their input. You gotta let them be in a part of the process and making decisions. Um, so that, things could be beneficial and it could be what they enjoy and what they like to do, not being forced on them. And it's good to look for those resources, do your own research. It's actually, I think they changed the name, but I remember it used to be Scholarships for Dummies. Um, but it's a lot of books out there that can help you with scholarships and simplifying them and things like that. So definitely do your due diligence as a parent to seek out these resources, and the earlier the better.
Yes. Yes. And I think it's a matter of just like mapping out a plan. A lot of times people just maybe assume that their kids is going to go to college, and then like there's no plan B, C, or D. And
Yeah.
so it's like um when we get to senior year, and they may be like, I don't think I want to go. And then you're
Mhm.
like scrambling, like, okay, well, what do you like? What do you want to do? Like it's just a matter of like trying to set your kids up so that everybody's going to fall. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of how much cushion they're going to have on them so they aren't like bruised and beat up when they do fall. And like I said, for me, I would like for my children to go to college. If they don't want to go to college, then it's like, what's the plan? Because I do
Right.
want you to do good in life. I want you to be happy. I want you to be a productive adult. I want you to, I don't want you to, because I mean, a lot of times everybody can be a step away from depression, and that's another thing. Like, you also have to see what's best for your child's mental health, because everybody's mental health is not the same. And I do know some people who went to college and they became depressed, and they didn't know how to express that. And being around
Mhm.
new people is a lot. Being in a new environment is a lot for some people. Dealing with the stress of schoolwork can be a lot. So you got to kind of like see what's going to work best for everyone. Like, okay,
That's why it's important to know your child, because
yeah,
everybody is not equipped to go away. Some people can be
yes,
commuters and go locally and things like that. And it's you gotta have some grace.
yes,
If your child goes for a year and they, might want to see, I don't know if this for me. Okay, well, let's figure it out. Don't just be upset like I did all of this and now you going.
right,
It's a
right,
lot. You
yeah,
gotta, you gotta.
because like for instance, when Ava went to camp, when she went to camp last year, that was her first time, like, going to away camp. I wasn't really sure how it was gonna be. I feel like she enjoyed herself. This year, she then brought. I then got other friends to go, and this was their first time. Now, the one little girl, I could already tell by her personality that she was gonna be fine. She went, she enjoyed herself. Her and Ava both got star campers. They was good. But Ava other friend, she was homesick in the day. She's like,
Mhm.
I miss my mom.
Yeah.
So everybody is different. Um, I've always, because I'm a worry wart, I've always tried to give my daughter certain skills, because unfortunately I do think, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be here for the right. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here, so I need to try to equip you with stuff in case one day I'm not here. That's just how I
Yeah.
look at things. Everybody don't, but that's just how I look at things.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at things, because you're not always going to be here. And so you do need to equip your children, because you don't know, you just don't know. So I think that's a good way of looking at it. So, yeah, college isn't for everyone. Know your kids, know their strengths, know their weaknesses. Take interest in what they like, what they don't like. All of that is important as life goes on. Putting them
And if you
into
don't know,
um
I think the thing is, if you don't know, you can find somebody who do know.
yeah. But then that goes back to putting them into services, putting them into extracurricular activities, trying different things, all of that stuff, and paying attention, because that's important too. Asking
Yes.
questions.
being around people, being around like-minded parents too, because a lot of things that I've put my daughter in, it was because somebody else told me about it. Somebody else who did this for their kid. They're like, oh, hey, here's a resource
Right.
or
Not
whatever.
having gatekeepers around you that
Yes.
don't want to share information.
Right.
Like, nope, I'm keeping this information. I
Yes.
only want my
I
kid
said
to
the
know.
basketball program that she's in, another parent told me about it. The Salvation Army, another parent told me about it. Like,
Yeah,
it's
definitely important. So
So
we're
okay,
going
so we're
to
gonna close this
go into
out,
our lyrics.
even though I really should be at the Beyonce concert right now, but it's okay.
You should have searched for some last minute tickets.
I did, but it's okay because I mean I do have FOMO. I didn't think I was going to have FOMO. I do have FOMO, but I'm not feeling my city, so
Yeah.
I still have time to go. But I'm not. I don't.
How much were the last minute tickets?
Oh, they had tickets like 230,
Oh, okay.
250. Yeah,
I know
they
people
had.
that's what they do. They'll wait until the day of and they'll
Right.
get
Yeah, girl,
tickets.
today I downloaded SeatGeek and StubHub.
But people do that with
Um
flights too. I just can't live my life on the edge like that. But people do it all the time.
yeah, I know. Yeah, but yeah, I do have FOMO, but it's okay. I'll decide. I'll decide because she's gonna be in Maryland too, like next month. So I don't know. But anyway,
Okay. Well, what's your lyrics
so
for
let's
this
close
week?
out with these lyrics. Mine's is Beyonce. So my lyrics this week is from Beyonce, School and Life. There's not a real way to live this for real. Just remember, stay relentless. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Don't stop running until it's finished. Yeah, yeah. It's up to you. The rest is unwritten. Yeah, yeah.
I never heard that song a day in my
School
life.
and Life.
Never.
That's the end of it though. That's like the outro.
I
You heard
never
it
heard of
before.
that song. No,
You
how
did.
you go? I
Cause
Janina,
I,
I
I because
never.
I've heard it plenty of times, but didn't know the name of it until just recently.
What album is it on?
It's like this is for my 20 something woman. You ever heard that part? That's how it starts.
What
It's
album is it
from
on?
I think it's self-titled. Hold on.
Cause I ain't never heard that song. I never even knew it was a song. She
Even
had a
like this
song
song.
called "School of Life."
Oh, it's from 4.
Oh, yeah, no, okay,
Yeah. I didn't Ava likes this song, so I didn't start appreciating this song until after she would be listening to it all the time.
okay,
It's not a single.
interesting.
I know.
Oh,
And she'd be like
okay.
at the age of 16. You ever heard this song? Yeah.
Mm-mm, never.
It's not a single.
Okay, learn something new every single day. So my lyrics, I know y'all know Kanye been on his ish, but he
Mhm.
still got some good music. So my lyrics are from All Falls Down by Kanye. And the lyrics I chose says, "Man, I promise, she's so self-conscious. She has no idea what she's doing in college. That major that she's majoring don't make no money, but she won't drop out. Her parents will look at her funny. Now tell me that ain't insecure. The concept of school seems so secure. Sophomore 3 years they ain't picked a career. She like, fuck it, I'll just stay down here and do hair." And that's so
uh,
funny because well, when I was in high school, we had to do this internship program where we went to an elementary school and helped we tutored the kids, right? So it was this little girl and she never wanted to do her work. And we had asked her, actually she was a Tiffany student. And we had asked her, like, well, why don't you want to do your work? And she was like, I'm gonna be a hairdresser. I
girl,
don't
you
need to
still
do
gotta
this
freaking
stuff.
pass the test for that.
She was in elementary school, but come to find out her mom was a hairdresser.
Right,
So that's why she was like, I'm gonna be a hairdresser. It just was
right.
hilarious. So
Yeah, that is hilarious.
so we're gonna get out of here. We appreciate all the support, all of our listeners, and we will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.
Hold up, hold up, hold up. Don't leave yet. Thanks for listening to my mom and auntie. Make sure you guys follow them on Instagram at the underscore JAWN underscore podcast. On Twitter at W underscore the J. On TikTok at the JAWN A podcast. And visit our website www.jawnpod.net. Don't forget to ask the Jawn, sending your listening letters to thejawnpod@gmail.com. Period.
This is the JAWN, a podcast. I love y'all. Before